The purpose of this tutorial is to discuss the payment function in Excel and how it can be used to calculate the periodic payment one must make on a loan that's made for a set interest rate in a set period of time. So we're going to start off, we're going to click here in our cell that we want to put the formula in, and we are going to come up to the ribbon and we're going to click on the Formulas tab here. And under the Formulas tab, I have several function books that I can go to, but I'm going to go to the financial one because that's where I'll find payment. Okay? Now when I scroll this list down, all the way down here, I see that there's a PMT function. That's the payment function, so I'm going to select that. Okay? And it prompts up a box that asks for some parameters to help the Excel determine what that payment is going to be. The first thing it asks for is the rate. Now I have listed here an APR for this particular loan of 6.5%. But an interesting thing about loans is that you have a set payment schedule, and in this case it's a monthly payment schedule. So I have to convert this annual rate into a monthly increment, and I can do that really easily by saying divide it by 12. Next, it asks for the number of periods. That's the number of times you're going to make payments on this loan. Now again, we've agreed already that we're going to pay on it for 5 years because we have a term. However, we've also said we're going to pay it every month of those 5 years. So up here for NPER, I have to say times 12 to get that into a monthly increment. Okay? Finally, it asks me for the PV. And I simply have to click on the loan amount, which is my $25,000, and say OK. And it calculated the cost of the loan per month will be $489.15. Now, another thing you have to keep in mind, though, is the cost of the loan is going to vary based upon how frequently you pay on it. So I'm going to move my worksheet over a little bit so you can see my other scenario that I've listed here. Here I have the same loan, same APR, same term. However, I'm only going to pay on it quarterly. We're going to calculate that differently slightly in the payment function. So I'm going to click on this cell to make it the active one. I go back to my financial listing and again find the payment function. And I'm going to scoot this over so we can see it. Notice again it asks me for the rate, and again I'm going to point on my rate. Right? However, this time for rate, I'm going to do this quarterly, so I have to get that annual rate into a quarterly increment, so I'm going to divide it by 4. Again, my number of periods is 5 years. However, I'm going to do it 4 times for each of those years, so this time I multiply periods by 4. And finally, PV is the amount of money that I'm borrowing, so I simply click on that one and say OK. Right? And notice that the quarterly payment is higher than the monthly payment because we're going to make it less frequently. So that's the payment function.